He was a preacher who couldn't resist temptation, caught between two women, the one he married and the one he desired. So when his wife was found dead in their locked bedroom, her suspicious relatives vowed to find out, was it suicide or murder? Here's Jim Avila.
With all your heart, with all your soul.
A favorite son in Waco, Texas.
That you may fear the Lord your God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I
The
command
Baptist
you.
preacher with a doting congregation. And a beautiful family.
If you know our children or not, this is my wife, Kari, and it's special for me.
Matt Baker, front and center at the pulpit every Sunday in the heart of the Bible Belt.
It was 911. Do you have an emergency?
Yes, I think my wife just committed suicide.
Pastor Baker never imagined himself in this life-changing moment, pounding his wife's chest in the middle of the night, on the phone to 911, and reading a suicide note out of the corner of his eye.
Tell me exactly what happened.
My wife is laying in the bed, and her lips are blue, are cold, and there's a note that says "I'm sorry," basically.
Is she conscious?
No, she's not.
breathing?
No, she's not breathing at all. No pulse or anything.
She was not moving, no response. And I shake her, I call her name, and wow, what do I do? I get her dressed as I'm on the phone.
Did you see what happened to her?
No, I do not know.
The sweet life for Pastor Baker and his 31-year-old wife, Kari, had come to a sudden stop. The college sweethearts who married within months of their first hellos, both educated at Baylor University, cornerstone of Baptist education, and raising a family bathed in piety and love. The perfect couple from day one.
It was almost an immediate attraction. We liked each other, we fell in love with each other.
Kari's family thought it all happened too fast, but were reassured by their daughter that Matt was a good man, and being a preacher in Bible-thumping country certainly helped.
It was a whirlwind romance.
Kari's mother, Linda Doolin.
We tried to talk Kari into waiting a little longer, and she really did not want to.
So Kari Baker's Aunt Nancy says the family went along with the rapid-fire romance. After all,
she was marrying a Baptist minister. How good is that?
Matt and Kari's life together looked so promising, until, without warning, on that spring night, now over 4 years ago, the preacher's wife brought it all to an abrupt end, snuffing out the storybook romance, say authorities, with a couple of wine coolers and a bottle of sleeping pills.
Oh, she's got foam or something coming out of her nose. Okay, someone's at the front door. I gotta go.
Those moments stay in your mind. You can't get them out.
A loving husband with big blue eyes and a prominent position, Kari had it all, including a rewarding career of her own.
Wow!
As a devoted mother and elementary school teacher.
She was always the bubbly little blonde. Cheerleader, mascot in high school, loved athletics, loved life. People were drawn to Kari, always.
So why would a perfectly healthy mother of two leave a typed, unsigned suicide note professing love for her children, her parents, and her husband, say she is sorry, and then take her own life?
She didn't come at me and say, "Matt, I'm going to kill myself."
But Matt says there were clues that his beautiful wife was in a downward spiral. It began, he says, with one monumental tragedy.
I love you.
The loss of their second daughter, a little girl born over a decade ago, who lit up their world. Her name was Cassidy, and she struggled mightily for life. Struck by a brain tumor at a year old, taken from her parents just 4 months later. And everyone agrees her death drove her mother, Kari, to bouts of terrible grief.
I didn't think she was depressed. I thought it was just a deep sadness.
She had a hole in her heart. It was horrible. She made it through her faith. Her faith was a very big part.
But Matt says Kari never really made it entirely through the grief, and says her treasured leather-bound Bible, a gift from Matt, is filled with clues to how deep the sadness was. In the margins, around some of her favorite scriptures, evidence, says Matt, that Kari was hiding dark thoughts of ending her earthly life in favor of a heavenly one with the daughter she lost 7 years before.
There's one in 2 Samuel where David loses his firstborn child, and she writes on the bottom, "Cassidy, I will go to her."
And what does this tell you?
She could never let go of Cassidy. It was such a strong hold on her.
Kari did go to a grief counselor for a year. Matt claims she began seeing a therapist again the week of her death, and to a doctor complaining of stress and anxiety. Matt says her once close relationship with her 2 daughters suffered as Kari, he says, pulled away.
There was constantly that in her voice and in her prayers and in our conversations that, what if? I lost one, what if we lose another one? I can't handle that.
The night she died, Matt told investigators about Kari's depression. They quickly decided that suicide made sense. But almost immediately, some of those closest to Kari, like her cousin Lindsay Pick, who showed up at the Baker house in her pajamas while police were still on the scene, could not comprehend how the doting mom could leave her kids. They believe suicide was not in Kari's character. She had other children, including a daughter born just a year and a half after Cassidy died.
She would have never, ever left her children.
And with that, the women who knew Kari best, her cousin and aunts, decided they would not accept that suicide ruling.
Don't mess with our family. Don't mess with us. We will fight for the truth.
Her family decided they would fight by launching their own investigation, hiring experts, and pushing so hard, friends began to call them the Charlie's Angels of Waco, Texas.
Linda finally said, "I need my angels over here so we can talk."